Hello one and all. This video is to talk about the current state of Warhammer 40,000 in the 8th edition. Gosh, it's been that many editions. And I want to preface this by saying that, I've been out of the loop a little bit. I played some games in 2017 when it first landed, but very little. I didn't really explore it properly, but I've got the books, the main rule book and the Dark Angels Codex, and life did its thing, and I was away. It used to be that 3 years wasn't a terribly long time to be away and not play. Got busy with other priorities. Now 3 years is a very long time, and I want to, as part of that preface, to say that I'm approaching this as a player that has been away a while, and the point of view of someone trying to pick it up fresh or trying to come back to it in some way, and the situation that they would then face doing so. So let's get into that. I mean, what a difference 3 years has made. This now being 2020. And at this time where everybody's locked in, there's a lot more sort of hobby pickup. So I'm trying to finish off, the grey spruce pile of shame a little bit and get some of that done. But, my thought process looks like this. I need to build them some way, this particular kit, right? How do I build them? What does the meta look like? What does the tactics look like? That begins to make you have to go back to the books again. And, you begin to take a look maybe at what other people might be saying, and then you see references to all these other things. And you're like, what's this? What's that? What? Then it turns out that there are a whole bunch of extra rules beyond your codex. There's that they're obviously pushing the storyline forward and the world forward, and that's all great. That's all good things. They're bringing out the psychic awakening books and those. That's all fine and stuff. But it would appear that those kinds of books, and there appears to be some other, like the Vigilus one and whatever's the content of that, which I haven't read, and I haven't read any of Psychic Awakening, because this is the whole point I'm getting to. There's lots of books, right? They've all got rules in that are applicable to my army, to Dark Angels. And so if I want to play the current full rules, I then have to own those books for the bit of them that applies to my army, right? Have I got that right? What now? So I would need the Dark Angels Codex and those other books, and also keep in mind any of the beta rules that might be being suggested, which, those are fine. That's great. They're trying out new ideas, but then they're FAQing the books you've already bought, so you need to, obviously try and amend them in some way or take them into account in some way. But then they're FAQing the other editions as well, all the other books. So you've got to then juggle multiple FAQs for multiple books. The more books you create, the more FAQs you then have to try and juggle as well with it, alongside them. Now, when 8th edition launched, Games Workshop specifically stated that they wanted to reduce the sheer amount of books that you would need for your experience as a player. And the way to do that would be, to trim right down and to bring this out, and that's fine. As just, your codex, the rule book, and go. Well, they didn't do that, did they? And so they've gone against their own policy. And I could see, that they've tried to bring out these rules, and, they've brought out these rules, and that they've had to go against their policy to do it. But it feels to me like what this should have been is the bits that apply to your army. It would be great if they were electronically added to the PDF codexes. codices. Yeah, so that if you owned the electronic version, then blah blah blah. And by the way, the print editions, wouldn't it be great to just print out the bit you need and just stick it over or something like that? That would be a nice gesture if they release some sort of stickers or something that you could put into your book to replace, or a new page, a whole page, and just stick it in over the other page. Or I don't know. I like paper. I like the physical copies of these things, which make it really even harder for me. But the thing is, if you've got rules that are across, I don't know, you're looking at the main rule book as well, and then your codex, because you always need the rules out of that, and then you've got maybe 2, 3 other books on the go that you have to check with all other rules, all specific to your army. Imperial armor, chapter approved, blah 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 blah. Then even if those are electronic, then those are multiple files open that could be lagging up your system. You've still got to like scroll through one file and then tab across or whatever you're using, and then scroll through another file to find the bit you need there, whatever. It'd be great to just have all of these as data sheets on hand, ready, little quick reference sheets. Talking of reference sheets, oh my god, what's with the codex? The 2017 at least Dark Angel codex. That was great at the back in the previous edition, where they had like all the weapons referenced right there, all the range and damage and stats and everything for all the weapons right at the back. It was almost like a fold out sheet thing. They don't have that now, so you have to hunt here and hunt there, and you go to in like the Dark Angels book, for instance, you go to the bit before the data sheets for the actual full entries of what the thing is to get some special rules, and then you go to the end of it all to get the other special rules. So they've separated 2 lots of like army-wide special rules at 2 ends. So it's just always been crazy the way they've done this. All right, fine. Anyway, so as a player trying to come back to it, here's what I see. Yeah, I see the information in the codex, and then I realise, well, I would need to check the FAQs. So that's more reading to double check all of that. And then I would need to check the content of all those other books, and then check those FAQs. And it puts me off, to be honest. And then there's all these other things like the doctrine rules and all these other things that can really affect your game. And then they've FAQ'd that as well. So why can't they? And there's another thing, the chapter approved books, right? This has been the way that Games Workshop have seemed to be going on this, that they produce a chapter approved every year, and then that's got more updates and information that you're then supposed to add to your army. But if you miss them, like I have over 3 years, I bought the 2017 one, but that was it. If you've missed them, it's like, what do you do? Do I just buy the 2020? Is there a 2020? Or wait, there's a 2019 probably, right? So I'll read the 2019, I'll go out and spend copious amounts of money, because they're expensive as hell anyway, all Games Workshop books even, of any kind. Alright, so if I buy the 2019, am I missing rules that are in the 2018? Already you see the doubt, the ambiguity. Yeah, I don't know. But what do I do, And so having to look at that at the moment, the uncertainty of what to do. Do I buy all these books? Why can't you just bring all these rules straight to me? Age of Sigmar are doing it as well, so it seems like a planned update kind of idea that makes things as complicated as they possibly can, on top of the fact that they're getting you to spend more money. So you can be cynical about this, or you can just be realistic about it. It's planned, isn't it? They've done it with Age of Sigmar as well, with the General's Handbooks. It's the same format. But it's not very helpful, is it, for people trying to collect all of this together for the experience of actually running a game. And you have to be quite adept at basically collecting this together and being organized enough to do this when you just want to play a game. And you don't want to have multiple tomes to reference the damn things. And you may not be able to commit that much time to reading all those books and such, you know. So what mad times we're in. We've gone from not needing so many books to needing more books than we've ever needed, when they said they didn't want to do that. And so that's what I'm currently facing as a returning player, and I'm looking at a very daunting prospect right now. So trying to make sense of what I can, you know, on stuff like how the combat doctrines and how those affect how the army work, and you know, every release like this obviously changes the meta in a huge way, and makes certain things you have more viable or less viable or whatever. And I'm not so much bothered about getting the absolute meta biggest powerhouse, but I want to know roughly what effect the things are having on at least the way the rules worked, and some of the tactics that I pre-envisaged how they would work when I bought the kit. And obviously it sat there for a few years before I'd even come to build it, because you all feel that pain. And then you have to actually check that the meta hasn't shifted, because you may not even be able to effectively use it in the way that you first conceptualized when you bought the damn thing, and so on. So yeah, many rules. And you know, let's see some comments below. Are you feeling the sting of this, the annoyance of this? These things like chapter approved coming out that should really just be free updates, shouldn't they? All right. See you at the very complicated table.